Hey guys, it's JillianVita. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk about my move from New York to LA, how I got here, why I decided to move, and what the experience has been so far. When I meet people, the first question they really ask is, what's the difference between New York and LA? How is New York? Would you go back? So I kind of wanted to just glaze over all that, and if you're thinking of making a move, like a giant move like I did, maybe you'll find some sort of answer in what I'm about to say for any questions that you may have or any doubts that you could have. So for me, I decided to move here at the end of May of 2014. And it was something that, it wasn't on a whim because I had thought about it for a while, but nobody really knew that I was thinking about it because I'm not one of those people that really talk about things until I make my mind up about it so that I could kind of get things going, I can prepare myself, and then when the discussion is to be had, then I know how to go about it and what to answer and what to say. So I lived with my parents at the time, and that's not really that crazy to live with your parents because I'm Italian and my family is traditional. So for me, I was 26, but I was living with my family, and that's really, again, not that crazy. So I knew telling them was kind of going to be difficult because I really wasn't sure how they were going to react because my brother still lived in Brooklyn. My sister at the time, I'm not sure if she moved to New Jersey yet, but she was either still living in Brooklyn or she had just moved to New Jersey. So for me, nobody really had made such a major move before in my family, so I didn't know how my family was going to react to it. Plus, if you watched my video about body image, I had just gotten over like a depression like 2 years earlier, so just in general, I think my parents would have had concerns. So telling them wasn't exactly the easiest thing in the world, but I did decide to tell them once I decided to make up my mind. And my mom was more not really believing what I was saying. She kind of didn't believe it. She was more of a see it, I'll believe it when I see it kind of a thing. And my dad got immediately into like dad mode, meaning that he was concerned and he was, had a million questions. And luckily I kind of was prepared for that. So I kind of just answered all of his questions because I wanted to reassure him that this is something that I really wanted to do. It's something that I was thinking about. And it definitely wasn't just an up and made decision where it was on a whim. So from the time that I told my parents to the time I booked my ticket was, I think, 20 days. And then I got an apartment middle of June, and then I moved here July 1st, 2014. So the reason why I moved wasn't because I was running away from anything. It wasn't because I had a bad life. I just felt like I was kind of stuck. And I felt like my life had been in a cycle where it was kind of like doing the same thing, seeing the same people. It was almost like a Groundhog's Day for me where everything was kind of like the same over and over. And I don't like to live like that. And I really wanted to see what else was out there for me because I really felt like there was something out there that was better for me and was more of a better fit for me. So I had been to LA in the past, both to visit a friend that lived here and because I was working as a stylist. So I would come to LA and I would do like jobs here. So I'd come here for like the ESPYs and I was styling athletes because I did menswear. So for me, I found myself in LA anyway. So I was comfortable here and I did like it. So when I decided to move here, I knew that there would be like an adjustment that needed to be made, but I really wasn't kind of sure of what kind of adjustment and how long it would take me to adjust. So when I got here, I moved to downtown LA, and I knew that that was a mistake because it's definitely not like the city that I'm used to, which is like Manhattan or New York. And it was so different for me, and it was kind of just like not exactly a place that I would choose to live. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on there, and I could see myself going there for like events or activities or, for dinners, but to live there was a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I moved out of downtown within 2 months. So by August, I was moving out. And I found myself in the Valley in Chatsworth. And I know that might sound a little crazy, but I really think it was because I really didn't know much about LA and I didn't really know anybody here. So I kind of was exploring, and by the time I knew it, I found a 2-bedroom in the Valley. And I wanted a 2-bedroom because if I wanted to get really back into styling, I wanted a room that would be separate for like all my styling stuff, whatever. So long story short, I moved to the Valley. Soon after that, I realized that that was probably a mistake because I was like being new to LA and not really knowing anybody. The Valley is kind of like more family oriented, or people that have been here for a really long time. And it's not really too it's not a destination for people to go and like hang out or like go on a Friday night. So to meet people in the Valley was really hard for me. I didn't feel like it was a very social place, and I didn't think that there were many opportunities for me to really meet people and become friends with anyone. So I was there for a year, but about 2 or 3 months after I moved to the Valley, I really started to doubt my decision to come here. Because like I said, I really wasn't making friends. And I mean, I was dating at the time, but I definitely wasn't dating seriously. I was kind of just like dating just to meet people, honestly. Like, I just wanted to meet new people and like maybe make a friend along the way. And I definitely wasn't looking for a relationship, but just, to socialize and really like get to know LA and get to know people here. So I was dating, and it still didn't feel right to me. LA did not feel like home. And I always thought that it would just click. And the fact that it didn't click like 6 months after I moved here really made me anxious. So I remember calling my father, and at the time my dad and we never really had a super close relationship, but I would definitely say that when I moved, we definitely kind of started over, and we definitely became close, and we actually had a relationship, which, like I said, we never really had in the past. So for me, I called my dad, and I just remember being hysterical, crying, and saying that I thought I made a mistake. It doesn't feel like home. I'm not comfortable. I feel like I'm not making friends. I feel like my life is not where I want it to be. And, I didn't know if this was for me. And my dad was just like, just give it time. You've only been there for 6 months. You're still adjusting. Like, you'll adjust. Give it a year. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll give it a year. So then I kind of I'm not really like religious or anything, but I did kind of just like put it out there in the universe that if I was meant to be in LA, and if I did make the right decision, to send me a sign. So, like I said, I kind of was giving up hope on being here. And it happened to be that like a week after the conversation with my dad, where I really did think I was going to move home, I met someone who who eventually became like my best friend, and instantly he and I clicked. It wasn't a relationship in the beginning. Neither of us were really interested in each other, and we definitely weren't interested in a relationship in general. So that's why it kind of worked. So we definitely clicked, and we became very close very fast. So for me, that was kind of just like my aha moment. I was like, okay, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because it felt like home. And, it's kind of strange, and it's so corny to say, but a lot of times when you think of home, you think of like a structure. And for me, I think that friendship felt like home for me. And it just, again, reassured me that at the time where I needed the sign the most, it kind of happened. So that was definitely my indication for myself that I did make the right decision. If you want to fast forward through that, we did eventually date for like a year and a half, but we were best friends first. And we're not together anymore, but I don't regret any of like our relationship. I definitely learned a lot about myself because of it. I would say that the one thing I do regret is kind of becoming attached and becoming very, I wouldn't say dependent, because I was never dependent, but I definitely wrapped my entire LA experience around that relationship, whether it was our friendship or, our actual relationship. And I didn't feel like I gave myself the time to really get to know LA and make it a personal thing for me without there being another person involved. And that's no fault of mine or his. It's just something that kind of just happened that way. And I don't, like I said, at the time when I was doing it, I was, happy to be doing it. And it wasn't a situation that I wanted to get out of. But looking back, I definitely should have given myself more time to just make LA like a custom experience for me. So like I said, I don't regret meeting him. I don't regret the relationship. Like to this day, even though we don't talk anymore, I definitely feel like there was a reason why I met him. And the reason why was to be a chapter. And the chapter was definitely to reassure me at the time where I needed the reassurance the most that I made the right decision. So now currently, the next thing that I've kind of been experiencing now is dating. And like I said, when I first got here, I was dating like back in 2014. But now it's like different, because now I'm kind of like more adjusted, and I have, my career, I have my apartment, and it's just like, for me, like I'm settled, so now dating is becoming more of something that I can actually seek, and I know that it could actually be something that will come, maybe, and it'll become something that's actually like a real situation. So for me, it's been like weird dating here, not because of like, I don't know. I just think that people can tell I'm not from here because I think just in general, people always ask like, what's the difference between LA and New York? First thing I always say is the pace. I speak a lot faster. I walk faster. I think faster. And I'm not saying that to be like, I'm so much better. It's just that from New York to here, you definitely have to slow yourself down because New York just always go, 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 go. And LA is kind of just like, at my own time when I want to. That'll happen when it's supposed to happen. And it's much more chill and much more relaxed. Not that I don't think I needed that because I think I did need that kind of a change, but to adjust from being a mile a minute to being like a little bit of a slug, it was hard for me. But I've kind of now adjusted, and now going back to dating, the reason why I say that it's a little bit more of an adjustment for me in terms of like that is because it's just a new experience here for me. And I don't remember what it was like to date in New York, but I don't think it was like this. And I think that people kind of know that I'm not from here, and I don't know if they know what to make of it. I think that in theory, like, I'm a really cool person, and I think that people can, like, I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like people do get along with me right off the bat, but then it becomes more like a friendship, to be honest with you, and that's fine by me, because like I said, I like for me, but it's like I decide that I want it to be a friendship, and I kind of like have found people that I'm interested in and like things like that, so I'm kind of excited to see like what happens in the future, but I also kind of do like, you know, the experience of dating, because I've never really been like a dater. I'm more of a like a relationship person, so it's kind of like cool to be like on my own and like really trying to like, you know, navigate through this part of it and being, you know, a single dater now. The fact that I don't know what my future holds, and the fact that I know in a year from now my life is going to be totally different, whether I want it to or not, just because my life right now is so, it's like in such a transitional period, that excites me. In the past, it probably would have made me really anxious, but now I'm just so excited because I feel like, you know, the world is at my fingertips, and what's meant to be really will be, and that has been proven to me time and time again. And I know that, especially because I've overcome so much since I've been here, that I'll overcome anything that comes in the future. Have I thought about going back to New York besides that time before it felt like home to me here? Yeah, I have. And it's just one of those things where I always compare like what I'm doing now with my life and where I would be if I stayed in New York, and if it might be something that I would do in the future. And especially now because my brother has 3 kids, a new baby, I have a new godson, and I don't get to see them grow up, and I don't get to experience all their firsts, and I don't get to like be a part I don't know why this is making me emotional. I don't get to be a part of like all of the things that everybody else gets to see, and it's always like a story to tell me, you know. It's never like I get to see it, or like I watch videos and I'll like, you know, check in with my family all the time, but it's just not the same for me. And you don't really know that you're gonna feel that way until it happens. And my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, had the babies after I was already here, so I definitely feel like I'm missing out on that, and that would probably be one of the main reasons if I ever did decide to go home. That would be like the thing that would tip the scale for me. But like I said, I kind of am excited about being here, and I'm kind of just feeling like this is now my real start in LA, and I'm looking just forward to seeing like what the future holds for me here. And the reassurance that I can always go back home and I do have a family there is definitely comforting for me. Even though I don't really have anybody here, just the fact that I know that I do have a home somewhere else, if I ever needed to go back there, definitely makes me feel better about being here. So I guess the point of me telling you the story is that I was definitely in a place 2 years before I got here, or 2 years before I decided to come here, where I honestly thought that to be honest with you, I didn't know if I was going to be around, you know, at all, because I was in such a bad place, and my health wasn't fantastic at all. There was a lot of scary times in my life. So for me to have made it to this point and to prove to myself and to so many people that I can do this and kind of like find happiness here and to be happy finally in my life, it's a great feeling for me. And I feel like that's another reason why this was the right decision. And if you're feeling uncomfortable in your surroundings, or if you feel like you're stuck, or if you feel like there's no like future where you are, then really I would say just get up and go. And if you're fortunate enough to have a home or a place that you call home, just know in the back of your head you could always go back if you need to. But don't pause life. You know what I mean? Like, really try to see what else is out there for you, because when it clicks, and life gets so exciting that way. So if you guys have a similar experience, leave it in the comments below. I would love to read about them. Or if you have questions about like the difference between New York and LA, or any questions if you're thinking about moving to LA, or if you're thinking about moving to New York, and you want some like insights or whatever, I'll be more than happy to help you out. But until next time, you guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.